Hi, I'm Pastor Jeff, the pastor here at Elevate Church, and I just want to welcome you to this next series of classes that you're going to take to be a part of our team here at Elevate Church. And first of all, let me just say how excited I am that you're taking this class and how honored that I am that you're taking this class. We believe that this class is going to strengthen your faith in Jesus and develop you as a follower of Jesus, and also give you some core DNA value systems of who we are as a church and what we believe as a church. And so we believe that this class is only going to benefit your life and strengthen your life, and also help you to really know the culture and the DNA of our church. So what I'm going to endeavor to do in the next 3 segments is to give you a brief history of the church, where we came from, also give you the mission behind the church, and then 12 core values that we have and we believe in. So Elevate Church was launched in November of 2015 with a core group of my family and 18 other individuals that felt impressed to help us start Elevate Church. And we really started from ground zero, from nothing. We didn't know anybody in the area. Nobody knew who we were. We just were trusting God, living in faith, hearing His voice to start this church in the suburbs of Cincinnati. And so we launched at Little Miami High School, and pretty quickly we figured out that that wasn't exactly where God called us to be. And so we took the church back to our house, and we would have church in our upstairs living room. We'd have kids ministry in the basement. And we did that for about 13 weeks before we found a semi-permanent home in Liberty Township at the Edge Teen Center. And at the Edge Teen Center, it was a great season of setting up and tearing down, and it was a small environment. We had about 2,500 total square feet for adults and kids, and it was tight. But God really used it and blessed it, and we were faithful with what God had given us, and we trusted the Lord. And for the next roughly around 16 to 17 months, we were at the Edge Teen Center, and we outgrew the space. And from there, we started looking at a lot of different venues all over Westchester, Mason, Liberty Township. But we kept feeling this pull that God had called us to Liberty Township. And sure enough, after a few months of looking, God opened up a door, literally a couple doors down, in the same warehouse space that we were at, right next to the Edge Teen Center. And so we had kids ministry at the Edge Teen Center. We had our service inside this warehouse that we redid. And again, we were there for about 14 months before we got to the place that we outgrew that space. We literally had people in the sanctuary. We'd have people sitting out in the foyer, kind of looking through this door to try to see service. Sometimes we even had a couple people standing outside with the door open. We were just so full. And we knew that we needed God to really give us a permanent home. And so we started seeking the Lord, and again, looking at different spaces, really all over the place. But God had given us a word that our home was in our backyard. And we didn't realize how right on God was, because about 4 months later, God opened up the door for the current building that we possess now, right here in Liberty Township, across from the freshman building. And God opened up that door, and we had to do a lot of remodeling. We had about 10 weeks to restore this place. It had sat empty for about 4 years, and it needed a lot of love and a lot of care. But we came in, and between the staff and wonderful, wonderful volunteers at the church, we worked around the clock for 10 weeks and remodeled our current facility here and opened up that Easter. And we've been here ever since. And so God's been super faithful to us over the the last, early years of the church. And we're so excited about what God's going to do in the future. But if you want more information on the history of the church, we put together a wonderful documentary a couple of years ago at our 5-year anniversary, kind of giving some more detail of the history of the church. We're going to put a link in this bio so that you can watch that documentary on the YouTube channel and get a little more information. So the first thing that Jesus spoke to Peter and the disciples that day was to feed his people. And Jesus was feeding them that morning. He was feeding their physical flesh, but Jesus wasn't really talking about feeding their flesh. And he wasn't talking to us, the church, about feeding people's flesh. He was talking about feeding their spirit. And Jesus said in Matthew chapter 4, man doesn't live on bread alone, but every word that comes from the mouth of God. And so we as followers of Jesus are called to live on the word of God, his fresh bread, his fresh word. And so he's speaking to Peter and he says, hey, I need you to feed my people. And that means lambs and sheep. And let me kind of break that down for you. So lambs are new believers. These are people that have no understanding of who Jesus is or the Bible or following Jesus. And you might be a lamb. You might be watching this series and you might be a lamb. And I want to reassure you that that is perfectly okay. And we love you and we're with you. And I want you to understand that there was a day and a time that I was a lamb, that I first gave my life to Jesus Christ. And I didn't know the word and I didn't understand how to follow Jesus. And I needed help and understanding. And that's really what this next whole series is about, is helping you understand how to be a follower of Jesus and understand the word of God. And so we try really hard on Sunday mornings or any event that we have here at Elevate Church to feed lambs, to make sure that when people come into Elevate Church and you don't know anything about Jesus, we're going to help you understand the grace and the goodness of God. So Jesus said, I need you to feed lambs, but he also said, I need you to feed sheep. And what are sheep? Sheep are people that have been in the church for a long period of time. And Jesus knows that no matter if you're young in the Lord or if you've been serving Jesus for a long time, you constantly need to feed on the Word of God. It's the thing that renews your mind. It's the thing that refreshes your soul. It's the very thing that gives you wisdom and understanding for everyday life. And it's so important that we take this job so serious that we feed you not just parts of the Bible, but we feed you the entire Bible and everything that Jesus has for you. All right, the second thing that Jesus talked to John and the disciples about was to tend, meaning to take care of his people. And we believe that there is no perfect church. We're not a perfect church. You're not going to find a perfect church that is perfectly going to take care of every single need that you could possibly have. But we are going to endeavor to stand with you in times of need. Maybe you need somebody to pray with you on a Sunday morning after church. Maybe you need to have somebody pray with you on the phone. Maybe you just need help in your marriage because your marriage is falling apart. Maybe you have a family member that is sick and you need people to stand in faith with you and believe for God's healing. We are going to do our absolute best to stand with people in their time of need, to strengthen them with the Word of God, strengthen them with the hope of Jesus Christ, strengthen them with the grace and the goodness of God, so that you can see to the other side that Jesus wants to take you and your family too. And so we believe that it's our job as a church. It's not my job personally. And we have a wonderful staff and we have a wonderful volunteer team. And as the church continues to grow, we have wonderful leaders that helps Jessica and I do this. But it's our job Jessica and I and our church, our staff, our volunteers, to stand with people to help them through the tough times and the challenges of life. The third part of our mission is to love people. Simply put, Jesus loved people from all kinds of different backgrounds, all kinds of different seasons, and all kinds of different demographics of life. There was no bounds to where Jesus would go and who he would love. We find Jesus with Zacchaeus, a known gangster, having dinner with him and his family. We see Jesus with the woman at the well. We see Jesus dealing with the woman caught in the act of adultery. So from our perspective, we saw Jesus ministering to all different types and all different people with the love and the grace of God. And so it's our job here at Elevate Church, no matter what season of life you're in. Maybe you're in a season of strength. Maybe you're in a season of despair. Maybe you're in a season of victory. Maybe you're in a season of addiction. As people come into Elevate Church from many different backgrounds, many different nationalities, many different places, we do our very best to open up our arms, just as Jesus would, and invite you in and to love people no matter what season they're in, and to show them the grace and the goodness of God. So these are our three core values inside of our mission. And this is our mission. Our mission is, simply put, we are going to feed people the Word of God. We're going to do our very best to take care of the people God entrusts us with. And we're going to do our very best to show people the love and the grace and the goodness of God without judgment. We love you. We're excited that you're taking this class. In the next portion, I'm going to be talking about the first 6 core values that we have here at Elevate Church.